See, what I think I really have an issue is like the type of guys like they just want a woman that like looks good on their arm, like
yes.
So like when you
Hold
say
on, listen, let me stop.
on,
Yes, that's what we want because that's who we are. And you want a man.
That's the problem I have with dating.
But
that's
but
why
listen,
I don't
listen.
Okay.
Listen, you want men not to be men. You want men to think like women. That's not what we value, ma'am. We want a beautiful woman on our arm.
Yeah, and that's the problem.
Well, no, you're the problem.
I'm the problem.
Yes, you're the problem because I'm telling you what men want. You've experienced what men want, and you've got a problem with it. That's your problem. We're not going to change. You're either going to get on board with it or you will die alone.
Well, damn, that didn't age well. Imagine being the man who got his stardom from telling women that they would die alone, only to fall dead on top of a Latina on Cinco de Mayo, and to have your family claim that that Latina stole your Rolex watch as well as other property out of your apartment. As you lie stiffless on the floor from cardiac arrest because you didn't care enough about yourself to make sure that your blood pressure was under control and to go see a doctor on a regular basis. Because why? Because you didn't have a woman, a wife, family, a support system that loved you enough that reminded you to go and take care of your health. Or maybe you shitted on them so much that they stopped coming around and stopped even bother trying to even help you because you were lost cause. You were one of the ones who joined the 40/50 Club. If you're wondering what the 40/50 Club is, it is the list of at one time high earning males who thought that they didn't need a woman or a wife because they was living a good life, being a player, a hustler, a pimp, whatever they want to call themselves. And they place so much importance on partying, drinking, sex, and what other men thought of them. And they never thought that at any moment it can all come crashing down.
It's helping me out though, man. It's making me realize I got a lot to go, man. A lot to go on, man. Oh, man. How you feel about X? I mean, I feel everything about X, man. X was love, man. Positive. X is big love to X, man. It's all, man.
You may have been wondering who was that frail, decrepit man in the last video. Well, that was Black Rob, a famous rapper from the early 2000s, came out with the song Whoa, very popular back then, and he joined the 40/50 Club at the age of 51. He had apparently been in lots of pain and failing health since his mid 40s and eventually, like I said, joined the 40/50 Club at age 51. And not only that, he had children who refused to come to his bedside. Undoubtedly, because of the type of father that he was, because most people would go and see their parent on their deathbed. He also had a GoFundMe to try to pay for his funeral costs and arrangements. Yeah, a man that was at one point worth millions had a GoFundMe for his funeral. But I'm sure at one point he had the attitude that the hoes can't tell me nothing. Shoot, I'm a king. I'm a boss.
I don't know. I was like either tense to go on stage. I was like really nervous to do a good show. Or if it was after the show, then I was over-egoed, pumped on having done a show where the crowd was into it.
Yeah, that's Shock G, the one who put the satin on the panties. From Digital Underground, the Humpty dance. So, yeah, that was him. That was his last video he made before he too joined the 40/50 Club at the age of 57 from an accidental, air quotes, accidental, meth, fentanyl, and alcohol overdose. So, yeah, he had years and years of partying, drinking, doing drugs. And in his last video, he was professing his love to a white woman that he used to date.
No, I'm angry all the time. Had a lot to be grateful for. Like it was a good time. You know, we had a lot of fun down there, and you know, Miami, third album. What? You know, when I get in the studio, it's a whole other situation.
That is DMX, father of 15 children, who joined the 40/50 Club at age 51 after a lengthy battle with crack cocaine. And unfortunately, the crack won. I'm not making fun of people with substance abuse issues. It's just very unfortunate that he put partying and drug use in front of being a father to his children, which ultimately shortened his life because a lot of these men feel like they have forever to settle down and to get it right. I think that they forget that tomorrow is never promised to any of us. Well, here comes the brand new. Yeah, anybody who grew up in the 80s or 90s can remember that tune. This is Mr. Craig Mack. He was very popular back in the early 90s with his hit Flavor in Your Ear. He was another artist signed to Diddy, and we all know how the majority of his artists turn out, normally in destitute and begging for him to pay them their money. And regrettably, there was no difference with Mr. Craig Mack. He entered the 40/50 Club at age 46 due to, dun, 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 you guessed it, heart failure. Most of these tend to be heart failure, stroke, or drug related. So Craig Mack stopped doing music in 2011 after he felt, in his own words, the urge to unalive someone. He felt that he was being taken over by a wicked spirit and demons that were either urging him to unalive someone else before they unalived him. And he ended up joining what some believe to be a cult. Others just call it unconventional religion. And he lived out the rest of his days low-key out of the limelight. But he always felt like his career was eclipsed by the fact that Puff Daddy basically left him behind when Biggie Smalls rose to stardom. And even after Biggie's untimely death, Craig Mack felt that Puff Daddy never gave him the opportunity that he had given Biggie Smalls during his entire career. Next, we have Anthony Johnson, known as Ezell, off of the movie Friday, the very first one of the trilogy. Ezell, we all know he was the one who came up with my neck, my back, my neck, and my back. So Ezell was also, besides the fact that he was a actor, he was also a comedian for many, many years. And unfortunately, at the age of 55, he joined the 40/50 Club. His cause of death was listed as chronic ethanol use, meaning that he was an alcoholic, basically. And his body gave out, his heart gave out, his organs shut down, and he passed away from chronic alcohol use. When Anthony passed away, his wife was struggling. He left behind a wife and 3 children, and apparently he wasn't that good at planning because he did not have a life insurance policy, and there was a GoFundMe needed to bury him. And actually, his wife was on TMZ calling out his friends for not helping bury this man who had been in the limelight for 30 years. And instead of being an adult and laying out his wishes for his burial and getting life insurance, he was spending money on alcohol. And somehow his wife blamed not him, but other people for his bad decision making, and actually shamed other people for not contributing to his GoFundMe so that he can be buried. Lastly, I'm going to showcase Coolio. We all know him from the 90s with his hit record Gangster Paradise. He basically rode the wave on that hit song for many, many years, and he was the father of 10 children. And unfortunately, he joined the 40/50 Club at the age of 59. He was able to outlive the other men in this video, but did eventually succumb to his many, many health issues, again at the age of 59. It was known for many, many years that he had a drug abuse issue and was constantly fighting those vices. And he had a history of really, really bad asthma, but eventually he succumbed to a heart attack, which was most likely due to his many, many years of crack abuse. So because of so many incidents of premature demise amongst the collective of black men, I think people forget that the actual life expectancy of black males in America is 74 years of age. Now, once the silent generation and the baby boomer generation are gone, I'm pretty sure that those numbers will be updated and changed because of the poor lifestyle that so many of them lead, which generally results in them being unalived in their teens or early 20s, or living to be in their 40s and 50s and succumbing to health issues that generally plague people that are much older, like in their late 60s to 70 years of age. But because they don't want to prioritize marriage or family or their children, they don't go see doctors regularly, they don't want to hear the advice of women, and they're under the delusion that they are kings, they continue to have poor prognosis.